My age, I'm a bit old for it, but I can see why young people are attracted to coming here. Britain is changing. Secularization, technology, globalism, they're all making their mark. No surprise then that churches are also starting to look different. One of the biggest changes in the last 60 years or so has been the growth of multicultural Britain. In some places, it has quite literally changed the face of the church.
Immigration's made a huge difference to Christianity in recent decades because of all migrants to Britain by religion, Christianity is by far the largest.
On declaration of your faith in Christ, we baptize you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
At St George's in Barnsley, they've had over 50 baptisms in the last year.
I want to get baptized because I want to be with God.
But they need a translator to assist at these baptisms because so many of the converts are immigrants.
We baptize you in the name of the Father, and the Son.
The translator at St George's is Sadegh, an Iranian refugee and Christian convert who fled his home country for fear of persecution. He's recently been appointed the church's evangelism coordinator.
Father, show me one person to tell. In Jesus' name, Father.
He goes out on the streets of Barnsley to talk to people about God and the church.
God created us to be with Him, to receive this love and to give this love back to Him. Whoever believes in Him shall not perish but will have everlasting life.
For years, I wanted to kind of reach out to town more spontaneously, but never had the personnel really, because I'm not at all like that. And there's been no one in the congregation who's really been like that. And so I've been praying for years, Lord, send us someone who's got that gifting to go out. And so they came to us as an Iranian translator, basically.
Thank you for that. Yes, you.
But having seen his gifting, I just said, you know, I think I could see you doing this, please try it. And I've just been wonderful.
Do you mind if I pray for you? Yeah.
Sadegh is bold in his faith.
You know, I was Muslim background, but then Jesus saved my life.
To British tastes, his approach can seem unconventional.
You're the Son of God, Jesus. You're the Lord of Lords, Almighty, King of Kings. I'm not a good singer, but I don't care what people think. I'm not living for people. I love people, but I'm living for God, and then God uses any opportunity to speak to people. Very good to see you. Jesus loves you. Did Jesus sit in the church? Jesus always went to people. The ministry is outside, it's not inside.
The confidence of faith shared by immigrants like Sadegh has changed St George's dramatically in the last 10 years. 40% of the congregation are now immigrants.
We came to Barnsley 27 years ago to an all-white congregation, and Barnsley was 99% white then. But 20 years ago I felt God giving me a vision of building a house of prayer for all nations. We put a big banner at the front of church saying House of Prayer for All Nations. And we've just had an influx of mainly refugees and asylum seekers.
Good morning.
Sadegh and many of the other immigrants and refugees play a vital role in the running of the church.
I have an African honorary curate, 5 members of our PCC are from other nations, our evangelism coordinator is an Iranian, our church warden is Argentinian. They're really at the heart of our church life. It's very hard to imagine the church without them.
Christians from overseas bringing their spiritual fervour to the streets of the UK is nothing new. In the 50s and 60s, African Caribbean people brought their own tradition of street preaching called Warners. These days, with Christianity in decline, the arrival of new Christians can revitalise a church. It can also be a challenge.
Certainly the traditional church structures are having to take immigration much more seriously. They're having to listen to the people on the ground joining the churches in quite large numbers, speaking a different language, perhaps coming from different forms of worship and wanting to bring change. It is shaking the church up.